The ocean is key for us. Life would not exist without it. And yet, we are damaging it. Designing policies for ocean sustainability requires accurate observation is key and scientific information. Life would not exist without it.
We cannot do the science that is needed.
We are damaging
the observations that
Designing
are
policies for ocean sustainability requires
No
accurate observation is key for scientific information. Building life success of the Galway Statement. Various countries decided to connect their initiatives to support a massive transatlantic cooperation.
So in our dialogues with Brazil and South Africa, we saw an increasing desire for us to work together to mobilise the community in the South Atlantic and to build on what had happened in the North Atlantic.
The Belém Statement, together with the agreements with Cabo Verde and Argentina, constituted the next step in creating the All-Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance, a group of countries from pole to pole, all with a common goal: enhancing marine research and innovation cooperation for the benefit of citizens.
Our All-Atlantic Ocean Cooperation will ensure that research and innovation provide solutions to the communities faced with a changing Atlantic Ocean, leading to a more sustainable future.
Co-responsibility, co-ownership and co-implementation will be the pillars for tackling key common areas of interest. Working together to share resources and to collect data will map unknown territories, align budgets and maximize the benefits for citizens.
These things in the oceans are very expensive, and the instruments that we use for research. So I think that together we can be able to share the costs.
But uniting countries is not enough. We are opening the initiative to society, including the public, to build the All-Atlantic Ocean Research community.
The policies will only make a difference if the population itself understands why are you doing it.
By collaborating with the youth to have ocean-engaged citizens from an early age, our alliance gives the next generation the tools to create a more sustainable Atlantic.
There's a very good African saying that says, if you want to go far, you go alone. If you want to go further, you go together.
So join us and help make our Atlantic a better, bluer place for all.
So hello, everyone. My name is Sofia Cordeiro, and I'm the coordinator of the Anchor project that is supporting the implementation of the All-Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance that you saw in the video. So now I'm sharing my presentation. The presentation will be made available to all of you. So I will not go through all the different slides very in detail. It's just really more for you to understand and to know, are aware of the activities that we are implementing in order to reach the ambition of the All-Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance. First of all, let me tell you that the Alliance has a portal in the website, online, and here you have the link for that portal. The aim of this portal is to be a one-stop shop for the cooperation that is ongoing on the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, this is a very ambitious goal, but it's being built step by step, year by year. So if you have, for example, news that you'd like to share with the community, contact us and we can make them available through the portal, for example. As you have seen in the video, the All Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance is the result of a science diplomacy effort that aims to contribute to the increase marine research and innovation knowledge for a sustainable use of the Atlantic Ocean. And here the benefit of society is really the central of everything that we do. We try to promote solutions that benefit our society. This science diplomacy effort started in 2013 with the signature of the Galway Statement, then moved on towards the south with the signature of the Belém Statement in 2017, and it was strengthening with other countries in the south in 2018 and 2020 with Argentina, Cape Verde, and recently Morocco joining. So here I just want to highlight the last speaker from the video, that really if we want to go far, we go alone, but if we want to go further, we go together. And that is really what we aim at the end with the All Atlantic Pledging Platform that we will discuss here today. Just to tell you also that there are three main components of this cooperation. There is Connect, Act and Cooperate. And the cooperation has been supported by European projects that are called Coordination and Support Actions. The first one that already ended was the Aurora, and now it's the Anchor project, and you have their logos here. So everything that we do under these three big words, Connect, Act and Cooperate, are based on the existing capacities in the community and use a lot of networking activities and collaborative initiatives. The activities, in terms of thematic areas, they focus ocean technology, emerging pollutants, polar research, climate variability, ocean observation, ocean resources. As you see, it's quite encompassing several areas relevant for the cooperation. And it has been implemented through the funding of several national and European projects. Here you have more European projects, research projects that have been funded to support this cooperation. And until the end of 2019, over 200 million euros have been invested by the European Union in these Atlantic projects that promote the cooperation. In terms of connecting, so I have several slides regarding connecting activities. For example, here you have a puzzle with different activities that we are promoting. In terms of connecting, we have implemented several working groups, both through the Aurora CSA, the Anchor project, and the several research projects that are being funded. And we have also implemented multi-stakeholder platforms. All these groups allow the development of roadmaps, vision documents, strategies that are important to guide us in the acting and cooperating part. For example, in terms of the multi-stakeholder platforms that have been implemented within Anchor, the first forum took place in 2020 in Brussels. In February 2020, the second forum took place virtually due to COVID measures, but we were able in 1 year more or less to connect more than 100, we had more than 190 interactions between the different stakeholders. We were able to connect more than 70 stakeholders across and along the Atlantic Ocean. This platform was able to collect more than 1,000 initiatives that are ongoing in the Atlantic Ocean and that we are preparing and analyzing to be included in the portal that I have shown you. We have also identified 56 gaps and 79 recommendations to be implemented, and based in all of these the discussions in the multi-stakeholder platforms, we were able to launch 6 collaborative joint actions that I will mention later on. Another activity that is very important to connect the stakeholders have been the All Atlantic Ocean Research Forums. 4 of them already took place. The last one in June this year, and the next one will take place in Washington, June 2022. So save the date, and if possible, let's hope that we can all travel to Washington for an in-person meeting. Just for you to have an idea of the massive cooperation that we are building, we, in the last forum that took place this year, we were able to connect more than 3,500 participants in an event of 3 days from 63 countries. It's really, really big. In terms of speakers, panelists, we had 69 speakers and panelists from 14 countries. So we are really connecting the Atlantic stakeholders from north, south, and both sides. In terms of activities that we are being implementing, so instead of trying to connect the community, we have implemented several ocean literacy activities since the Aurora CSA. Here you have an example of some of these ocean literacy activities that took place. Other activities that we have been implementing promote the early career scientists, and there you have a workshop that was conducted by Atlantis Project, and we also have several other activities in scope of the different scientific projects that support training, capacity building that is crucial to support this cooperation. Other type of activities are also engaging the youth, because the youth will be our leaders of tomorrow. So it's very important that we engage with them, we hear them, we take note of their wishes, and that also that we train them. So we have implemented an All-Atlantic Ocean Youth program. We already have, we had the first cohort in 1920, and the second cohort has been nominated last year in December 2020, and will run until the end of this year at least. In this All-Atlantic Ocean Youth Program, we have been developing summer schools. We have been giving some training, specific training, for example, how to moderate sessions and so on. They have been very active in several high-level events throughout this year and also last year. So really one of the main activities that we are promoting now, it's this engagement with the youth ambassadors. And other type of activities that we have been implemented, for example, it was based on the Atlantis project. The Atlantis program was launched, and this is really a big program, big cooperation program with several entities from all across the Atlantic Ocean, with the aim really to step forward the cooperation, the observation of our Atlantic Ocean, because as Terry Sheffer said in the video, we cannot do it alone. Other activities that have already raised from all this cooperation are the 6 pilot joint actions that I have spoken before. Here you have them. There is one joint pilot action focusing on capacity building, another one on data, another one on knowledge transfer in scope of the aquaculture area, knowledge transfer also in scope of the marine biotechnology area. The 5th joint actions, it's a joint action that tackles the implementation of an Atlantic Blue Schools, a network of Atlantic Blue Schools at the Atlantic level. And the last one is one that focuses on the sharing of infrastructure that is so important when we go to the sea. And the last slide that I want to show you, I think it is the last focus on the activities that we are developing, promoting cooperation. And it is the All-Atlantic Pledging Campaign that has been launched in the last forum in June 2020, this year in the Azores. And it's really the subject of this talk here today. And this is an innovative way of cooperate, gathering voluntary commitments, trying to find solutions that protect and care for our Atlantic Ocean. And I think it's not all from my side, I'm sorry. So in conclusion, there are 6 key areas of interest that where we are promoting cooperation on. We are connecting the people, we are acting with several different activities, and we are promoting further cooperation through synergies between existing initiatives. There is a strong impact on the benefit to local populations. They are the center of everything that we do. And the activities that we do can really be a good practice, a lesson learned for the research in the different basins. All these activities that we are doing also has basis 3 components, as you saw in the video: co-responsibility, co-property, and co-implementation. And now it is the last slide. Thank you very much from my side. I think now, Szilvia, you can step in.
Now, Szilvia, yes.
Yes, thanks a lot. So I'm Szilvia Nemeth. I'm the Deputy Head of Unit of the Healthy Ocean and Seas Unit in DG Research and Innovation of the European Commission. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I must pass the apologies of Siggy Gruber, who couldn't attend, or maybe she will arrive later. I mean, firstly, I would like to thank the Air Center and the colleagues for organizing this very important event. I think it is an important opportunity to bring forward the work that we started, and after a very impressive All-Atlantic event in the beginning of June in the Azores. The pledging platform, as Sofia said, is a new instrument, an innovative instrument to take forward our work in the form of commitments, real-time commitments. I mean, how I would put it, it's also an opportunity to harvest the outcomes of our work together, and also to take it forward in a concrete way. In the past 8 years, since 2013, since the signature of the Galway Statement, there has been indeed very impressive work of researchers together. I mean, we managed to connect 1,000 research teams working together. In the next steps, I think what is very important is that indeed we bring back this knowledge to the communities and to the people, and how this can be useful for the society. And of course, we are very committed in the European Commission as well to continue these activities also through the Horizon Europe program. What I would also like to mention is that the pledges and the following through them and the submission of new pledges provides the opportunity to give even more visibility to what has been achieved and what we can achieve together. And I think this is very important to note, that we already have now an existing community, but we can enlarge it and we can make our work more visible. So I think this kind of networking events are also an opportunity to keep the stakeholder community together, to enlarge it, and to provide visibility to our activities and of course our future work. I mean, speaking of Horizon Europe and of the All-Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance work, I think one of the issues that has been always a guiding principle was the focus on outcomes and on impact. And here again, working in the form of these pledges provides an opportunity to do this work again and bring it even to a higher step. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing this work and to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Szilvia. Well, now I'm gonna make a very brief presentation. Yeah, just a second. on the meeting we had. Are you seeing okay? Okay, is it okay, the presentation, or I have to swap?
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. Yeah, so very brief presentation on the meeting we had about maybe a month ago in the Azores. No, so we had a special session to discuss the pledges. It was very interesting. Let's say what was behind this meeting. First, I mean, for those who doesn't know where the pledge is, I mean, this is the address. Maybe Catarina, you could write down the address in the chat box so people could visit, so could propose some pledges if you want to. The idea behind the pledge is, again, what was already said by Sofia and also by Szilvia, is that not only to showcase solutions that have been being around for the Atlantic Ocean, but also a way of putting people together to discuss and to collaborate around some basic challenges. I mean, we had 32 different pledges in 6 different areas. It was already said by Sofia. I know, and the most important thing, I mean, I go straight to what was the outcome. Most of these slides drawn very heavily from Patrick Heimbach's presentation. So we found there is a lot of cross-cutting themes that are very important: data share and sharing, and implementing findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable digital assets. And something new, at least for me, was the care principles for indigenous data governance. I mean, collective benefit, authority to control, responsibility, and ethics. And also, it's very important to leverage existing or planning infrastructure. This is something that is very interesting for me specifically because I'm involved on the joint action of AA-MARINET joint action from the Anchor project together with Florence Coroner. She'll be speaking very soon. Also, it's very important to use this pledge platform as a matchmaking platform to co-design solutions for the Atlantic Ocean, and also to promote transnational, transdisciplinary cooperation, coordination, and all other ways of working together to meet the challenges within the thematic areas proposed by Anchor. One point that was stressed in every thematic area is the need for capacity building and institutional development. Also, the involvement of the young ambassadors, early career ocean professionals, very early in this process and in a very substantive manner. Also, again, I mean, ocean literacy, public awareness, citizen science, let's say the idea of engaging stakeholders, the coastal communities in this process is very important. So this is in a way of making this pledge not only from the scientists and research institutions, but also involve, I mean, the final users. And one big question is how to implement and to realize these all-Atlantic 21 pledges. Well, we have to leverage existing programs, existing projects. We are already starting to have one-to-one meetings to bring more projects, more initiatives to pledge and to really be involved with this campaign. For example, next week we have a meeting with Atlantos, for example. We also want to engage private sector, funding agency, and all kinds of stakeholders in the later stages in the next cohorts of the pledge. The pledges are always open. And we want to use these pledges as like a pool of ideas and talents and ways of collaboration. But the most important thing actually is, I mean, to really transform these pledges in effective actions, developing metrics of success, and also to engage, I mean, a broad, very broad group of stakeholders. For example, I like this a lot. I didn't heard that before, but it's very interesting. Pursuing diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, and belonging in all parts of the implementation. But we also provide the new features. We will have now social media badges to be shared among the pledges. We will have a new features like joining existing pledging, contacting directly the pledges to understand a little better what to do and how to do it. And so we are just starting. We started on June 4th. We will keep going with the pledges. And I hope you all be joining us, or making it bigger and broader as soon as possible. Thank you. So, we have so now we start, Isabel. Florence, Coroner, this is always on the spot. She'll have to leave very soon, so she's asking to be the first. And then we start with Frank. Is that correct? Is okay, Frank?
Excuse me? Okay.
Florence will start, okay? Sorry about that.
Who is going to start?
Florence Coroner. She'll talk about the AA-MARINET pledge.
Okay, so we'll have a little change in the plan. But anyway, my name is Isabel Sousa Pinto. I'm from the University of Porto and CIMAR. And also I'm from MBON, that is going to be presented later, but also connected with Atlantis and other and Aquavite and other programs that are going to be presented. So so without any further ado, so what I need to do is just to call your names for the moment, and you will be giving short presentations about the pledges. And also, you state also where you're coming from. So the first one is now for Florence. Yes.
Thank you very much, and thank you, José, for this last-minute adaptation. So I'm Florence. I'm working at IFREMER, the French Oceanographic Center. I'm also work package manager in the CSA Anchor for work package related to infrastructures. And I will speak about AA-MARINET's pledge, which is, so AA-MARINET is the All Atlantic Marine Research Infrastructure Network. And it's, sorry, I can't see my screen, so it's a bit difficult. Okay. The objective of this joint action, which was initiated in the context of CSA Anchor, is aimed at the creation of a long-term platform to promote and facilitate cooperation in the field of infrastructure. So I'm speaking today on behalf of AA-MARINET partners who pledged to encourage and establish an effective process for sharing marine research infrastructures. You can see on this slide some of the, let's say, funding partners of this joint action. Of course, we are working with several partners, projects, existing initiatives for this. So to start with why we have this pledge, it was, of course, said again before, but I can repeat again that the sharing of marine research infrastructures is very important to address societal challenges, ocean challenges in the Atlantic Ocean. And the use and long-term sustainability of marine research infrastructures cost more than most countries can afford. So how are we going to implement this pledge? We will propose some tools and some activities which are listed here. So first of all, we will propose a web portal to share information about planned observations and available capacities. The idea is to highlight spare capacity that others could use and opportunity for cooperation. So this is the first level of cooperation to highlight in what area, what type of infrastructures can be shared. A second level of cooperation is to facilitate thematic areas networking. And we will start with 3 pilot actions. The first one is IA-TAPINA on pelagic imaging. one on coastal observations, AA CoastNet, and one on polar research. Those research infrastructures communities have different and specific needs, and the idea is to work on how to improve access and sharing of these specific infrastructures, taking into account their specific needs. The third level of integration of infrastructures to showcase a third level of integration is the promotion of case studies to focus on the possibility to exchange ship time and autonomous systems for monitoring and or cooperation opportunities during planned cruises between research vessels operators from the different Atlantic countries. And at the end, we will also, of course, produce guidelines to facilitate research infrastructure sharing in the Atlantic. Those guidelines will be addressed to decision makers, policy makers, infrastructure operators to have and promote concrete sharing mechanisms. I'm finishing now with the quick example of the implementation of the case study, which will take place very soon. So you see here a number of infrastructures from different countries that will be involved in this collaborative action around Cape Verde. All those facilities will be involved in this collaborative action. And the idea is to gather the required information to provide knowledge on how we can share infrastructures on a more on a longer term basis. So that's it, and I would like to finish to invite anyone interested to join and to get more information about our pledge and our joint action to contact us. I'm leading this with José Moutinho from the Earth Center and all the other partners you've seen in my first slides. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And maybe I should give, we will not have questions after each presentation, but since you have to leave, if there is someone that really would like to ask something to Florence, maybe he or she can use this opportunity. If not, we continue with Frank, and then people can start asking questions in the Q&A, and that will be then answered in the discussion session, or sometimes the person that is addressed can start already answering the questions in the Q&A. Okay, so Frank, I think you're next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I hope that I really want to thank the Air Center and everybody in the Atlantic for listening to these pledges. I want to ask you to join in this pledge to understand biodiversity and ecosystem functions and services. Much of what we do in terms of collecting observations in the ocean is to try to understand the environment in which life lives. And the one thing that we have the least observations about is life itself. So what we want to try is to advance in the next decade the mapping and quantification of life from the coastal areas to the deep ocean, from the surface to the abyss. So this pledge is about life in the sea, and the contact for the pledge is Joanna Suarez at the MBON Secretariat in the Azores. Joanna Suarez's email is at the bottom. So life in the sea has a lot of impact on our life. We know that it affects the atmosphere, it creates reefs, it really changes the chemistry of the ocean, but it also has a major influence on how we live. It provides foods, it provides medicine, it provides recreation. And so our life is completely linked to life in the sea. So what we would like to do with the Marine Biodiversity Observation Network is build a community of practice that advances the observation and ultimately the forecasting of marine life for the benefit of society. And so our contribution to the Atlantic effort, the All-Atlantic effort, is to converge on these best practices on how can we best collect data in standard ways and compare measurements from one place to the other, and especially over time, so that we can detect change. All of this is to be done fit for purpose with across sectors and across borders for the benefit of society. So we are standing up a program with MBON with a number of partners that we call Marine Life 2030. That is going to be a program focused on marine life for the ocean decade, and that is starting just now. We focus on essential ocean variables that are defined by the Global Ocean Observing System, which traditionally has been focused on physics and biogeochemistry. So we want to bring and integrate biology and biodiversity observations to the Global Ocean Observing System, using best practices, not only in the collection of data, but in how we manage the data in a way that is interoperable and shared with everybody openly. And we, of course, need to have a lot of training, not just for collecting the data, but how we use the data. And that is a major focus of Marine Life 2030, and that is a major role that the MBON program plays in this effort. So thank you. I'm going to stop here, but this slide just highlights the number of corporations that we have with a large number of partners, and we invite you all to be part of this effort. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We will hear about the different pledges, and we'll have then time to, because I think what we'll find out is there is a lot of common ideas in many of these pledges, and so ways to cooperate, and of course in the future pledges probably more so. So I have now Cushla that is going to talk. Are you there? Yes. Dromgool, okay.
Hi, Cushla Dromgool-Regan.
Okay, yes, I did not ask about the last name. Sorry.
It's fine. You can see my screen there, yeah?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. It's great to be here, and it's a pleasure to be involved with the All Atlantic 2021 pledge. I work for the Camden Education Trust, which is responsible for the management and strategic development of the Marine Institute Explorers Education Program in Ireland. And I'd like to just quickly go through what our pledge is with the Explorers Education Program and creating ocean superheroes and ocean champions, with connecting children, educators and stakeholders to work collectively in creating solutions to prevent marine pollution. So the Explorers Education Program is funded by the Marine Institute, which is responsible for marine research and development in Ireland. We work with a team of 20 outreach officers throughout Ireland who are also funded by the Marine Institute. And we also work with a network to promote ocean literacy within our communities at a local, national and EU and all Atlantic level. And one of our key actions is to inspire a new generation of ocean champions and inform society on the value of Ireland's marine resource, the importance of our ocean, and the work of the Marine Institute. We run teachers training courses for primary school teachers and student teachers at third level, reaching over 500 teachers annually. Many of our training sessions are held on the seashore and learning about marine species and involving learning about environmental awareness and care. And this also helps us introduce learning about the marine biodiversity and protecting the ocean at the larger oceans of resources. The Explorers team also educate and inspire primary school children by delivering over 400 marine-themed modules to over 11,000 children annually. We help children adopt an understanding of how the ocean impacts us, and as well as how we have an impact on the ocean. Children are introduced to the ocean concepts, ocean literacy concepts, as well as supporting the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and as well as introducing them to the concept of the UN Decade of Ocean Science. The children engage in learning about the ocean through modules such as seashore safaris, workshops, marine projects on an annual basis. We also develop marine-themed projects and fit-for-purpose teaching resources for primary school teachers and children that the outreach teams and the wider network can use free of charge, which is available on our website at explorers.ie. We have a number of successful projects where we've worked with formal educators, artists, marine scientists and local community groups, bringing them together and producing some amazing projects that the wider community can engage with. One of our favorites is this picture that you see there is a sample of one of the artworks that the children produced, where they worked with an artist collecting seashore litter and then transforming it and using the concept of the circular revolution towards zero, with the idea of not just putting the rubbish into the bin, but using it in a really creative way and producing amazing artwork that and messages in that artwork about the threat of pollution that it is having on our oceans. And a number of schools that took part in that project as well also reported on making the decision to stop using single plastics in the school where possible. So it had a really positive outcome, which would sort of continue with running that concept and project with our future projects and throughout 2021 and 2022. The Explorers program's All Atlantic pledges to continue to implement innovative actions with primary school children and teachers to prevent, reduce and recycle marine pollution in 2021. The Explorers team are adopting an all Atlantic approach, creating ocean champions by connecting with children and educators to work collectively in creating solutions to prevent marine pollution. Our innovative actions will include actions with their schools and homes to prevent and reduce and recycle marine pollution at a local and national level. By doing this, we'll be creating a pledge board in the classrooms that we work with and schools. We'll be looking at the Explorers team working with the schools and doing beach cleans as well as adopting a beach. So there becomes more of a connection with their local sort of environment. And also promoting plastic pollution facts to the 7 R's, such as the reduce, recycle, reuse, etc. And we'll also be looking at doing further exhibitions through artwork from plastics from the shore. And we'll continue to work with teachers through with teachers training, as mentioned earlier. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Really very interesting program. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people who want to cooperate and connect with these kind of programs. I think we have several around the Atlantic. We're really nice to bring them together in some way. So now I would ask Nicole Biebow. Don't know if I...
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. It's okay. So I'm Nicole Biebow. I am working at the Alfred Wegener Institute for Polar and Marine Research in Germany. And I am here representing the polar community. And as you see here on this nice slide, the poles are really important to the Atlantic Ocean, and the Atlantic Ocean connects both poles, of course, but also both poles influence heavily the Atlantic Ocean. And to do physical access, to do excellent research in the polar regions, you need to have access to really high-level infrastructures like vessels, but also stations and aircrafts. This is essential, and that's why our pledge is on facilitating cross-border access to polar infrastructures, very strongly aligned with the AA-MARINET pledge as well. Our pledge is embedded in a larger initiative, which we are running in the polar communities already since many years. It's an initiative to really improve our sharing of infrastructures. And it's run mainly by the European Polar Board, EU PolarNet, and other organizations, for example, such as the Forum of Arctic Research Operators. And we are working together to improve the coordination of the infrastructures, to improve the transnational access to the infrastructures, and of course the interoperability is very important. Our pledge is mainly focusing on improving the access, so the cross-border or transnational access to infrastructures. And since we are already quite well off in the Arctic, our key issue is also to implement a successful access program to the Southern Ocean and the Antarctic. This is, of course, perfect in the environment of AA-MARINET, since we have a lot of Southern Hemisphere countries who are quite active in the Southern Ocean, Antarctic. We also want to promote with this pledge the use and combination of infrastructures, especially to answer the big and complex key questions, which we can only answer jointly together. And as COVID showed us even more, how important to foster the remote and virtual access to the data from the infrastructure is. So this is also our topic, which we would like to put forward with this pledge. And if you look at the impact, if we would be successful, we would, of course, increase the cooperation also between the polar community and the Atlantic community, but also especially the Southern Hemisphere cooperation. Better use and better access to infrastructures will significantly improve the scientific outcomes. This is clear and will allow us to better address the societal needs. And last, but definitely not least, joint operation and joint infrastructure uses also significantly will reduce the ecological footprint research will have in these remote and pristine areas. Our next step is now to follow up with 2 more workshops. We started this discussion already in June during the Atlantic Forum meeting, and we will follow up with workshops, especially to see which science need we have jointly with the AA-MARINET partners. And as I said before, there are very good examples already who have implemented access in the Arctic, which are the Interact for stations, the Svalbard Integrated Observing System for Svalbard in general, and ARISE and Eurofleets who give access to polar vessels, ARISE to really heavy icebreakers, Eurofleets to ice-strengthened vessels. So we would like to take this example and move it forward with a special focus on the Southern Hemisphere in this pledge. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you. Another very good example, because this, of course, is very specific, and but is obvious the need to bring together all the existing initiatives. And actually, during the first analysis of the pledges, this area from for the polar research was the one with less pledges. But in a way, this is good, because what we want is a big pledge that really brings everyone together. So this is another good example. Okay, so the next one would be Ana Oliveira.
Hi.
Anna, please.
Okay. Is the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Oliveira. I'm a young research scientist at Plus Atlantic Collab. The Plus Atlantic Collaborative Laboratory is one of the laboratories implemented in Portugal, and all of them, as in Plus Atlantic, aim to bridge the gap between the industry and the research by producing applied research solutions. In the case of Plus Atlantic Collab, we are focusing on marine science and technologies, also remote sensing and space technologies. And as we are a very young group of scientists and researchers, we have a lot of stamina, and we have provided several pledges within the pledge initiative. I'm presenting the Coast Sense initiative. It's one of 6 presented. And I invite you to follow the institution to know about the remaining projects. Now, regarding the Coast Sense project itself, the motivation behind the Coast Sense pledge is based on climate change impacts, not only those related with seasonal changes, but also those related with extreme meteorological events, from atmospheric to oceanic processes, but also other kinds of stressors, such as those affecting planetary health. We usually think of climate change impacts as something that is global, a global challenge that is out of sight and in many cases out of mind when we think about day-to-day activities. The problem is that some research has been conducted regarding the possible impacts of such climate change and extreme events, and the numbers are quite astonishing. Almost 800 trillion losses are expected to take place by 2100 if nothing is made about it, both in mitigation and adaptation efforts. So yes, the impacts are expected to happen in our backyard, and they have to be addressed today. That being said, what is missing from coastal regions, especially those that are humanized territories such as coastal cities, is what will happen, when it will happen, and where, in which places. The Coast Sense Pledge is a concept that aims to address these kind of questions. We aim to deploy solutions based on remote sensing data, citizen-acquired data, and also machine learning and numerical predictive models to provide user-friendly tool, multidisciplinary tool to evaluate such kinds of meteorological and climate impacts, both in the short term and long term, and the information to be translated into impact assessment that can be understood by a broader community and not only scientists, so to measure the impact. For that purpose, a pilot has already been conducted together with Cascais municipality, in which we have provided several layers. The current status of the project is that these layers have been provided to the municipality, and they will be made available in the system of monitoring and urban management C2 in Cascais. And just to give you a small sneak peek of some of the layers that have been provided, one is the extreme temperature exposure index, which is based on a higher resolution prediction model to forecast the air temperature at the neighborhood scale, especially during heatwave events. And just another sneak peek, this one is, is an overview of the preliminary results also regarding overtopping issues like those related with storm surges, which are the coastal areas that are more at risk. Thank you for your invitation and attention.
Well, thank you. Another example, this one closer to, I think, most of us that live in the coast. But so this you have already, so you offer this pledge, but you have, so this is to do in Portugal, or you have already a network of partners that are doing this in other cities?
No, this is a collab initiative, so it's our own initiative, and we are more than happy to collaborate with everyone interested, but so far it's not an international funded project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's continue with Rosa Chapela. Rosa?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. You see my presentation. I don't know, Isabel, if it's okay.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, I'm Rosa Chapela. I'm from Setmar in Vigo, in Spain, and I'm part of this Aquavite project, as well as Isabel Sousa Pinto is part of this consortium. And I'm here on behalf of the coordinator, Philip James, which is from NOFIMA. And the Aquavita project is focused on increasing the aquaculture production in the Atlantic Ocean by developing new and emerging low trophic species by optimizing the production in existing aquaculture value chains. So we are focused on these low trophic species for aquaculture, and we are dealing with different issues impacting in this, or trying to develop these value chains, as the biological factors, issues, the environmental, the economic also, which is important, and the governance issues. And also we are trying to create this clustering, working in clustering in the whole Atlantic, because it's really, really needed. So this Aquavita consortium pledged to establish a transnational all-Atlantic network to promote and encourage the development of low trophic and IMTA aquaculture. So this is a collaborative effort between projects, of course, and organizations and stakeholders across the Atlantic that will provide a focal point to obtain new information and knowledge on the sustainable low trophic aquaculture in the Atlantic. This will act as a hub. The idea is to create a hub of knowledge, ideas, and the inspiration for others to get involved in the development of low trophic species and IMTA systems to increase the productivity of aquaculture value chains in a sustainable manner. So this pledge, as you can see, will bring together a minimum of 200 stakeholders that are part of our multi-actor platform in Aquavite in the area of this low trophic aquaculture across the Atlantic, and it will provide a hub for them to exchange information and knowledge, as I said. So all of this work will culminate with a low traffic and IMTA conference to be held in 2023. So we have identified related pledges, which is really good to create a big, our better effort, which the ATIP, considering the multi-stakeholder platform working for the development of the aquaculture in the South Atlantic. And we are also working with them, exchanging our stakeholders and working with the EATIP to extend or create mirror platforms for the aquaculture in Brazil and then in South Africa. Also with the Astral project, which is our sister project working on IMTA, the aquaculture multitrophic. They pledge for promoting women's empowerment and gender mainstreaming in sustainable aquaculture along the Atlantic area. So we can find synergies with all of these pledges, and also with different networks on aquaculture in the Atlantic. And we offer as an added value a number of industry, aquaculture industry, taking part as members, as partners in the Aquavite project, and really, really interesting in these activities. So in terms of developing this pledge, the Aquavite brings stepping stones for innovation, stakeholder participation, and knowledge transfer. So we hope and we will collaborate at several levels. For example, developing local and international case studies with the participation of industries, policymakers, and scientists. We already have a big number of stakeholders integrated in our Aquavite platform. We also develop research outcomes at regional, European, and international level through an enlarged multi-actor platform. We develop training and networking opportunities across the Atlantic with different programs. And as Sofia said at the very beginning, try to involve the youngers, because these industrial apprenticeships and student exchange are focused on young people, young researchers. And we also have developed these low traffic webinars, live webinars, one per month, when we try to involve the young researchers to talk about and to show their researches in aquaculture, and specifically in low traffic. So we are invited, and all the young researchers working in aquaculture are very welcome to show in our webinars program. Another step is the AltaNet, which is the AltaNet is a big platform that tried to it's created for people from the Aquavitae, but also from the Astral project. So they put together in a platform all the knowledge, all the information, events, etc., in this Atlantic low traffic aquaculture network. It's a first step to this pledge. So we are step by step creating ideas for collaboration, for coordination with other projects and platforms to develop and to achieve this network on low traffic aquaculture in the Atlantic. So that's it. That is from Aquavitae. Muito obrigada. Thank you very much. And you have here the names and the email from the coordinator, just in case you have to contact with him. Thank you very much. Thank you, Isabel.
Well, thank you, Rosa. Another good example here, you already start doing what we would probably be discussing later, that is trying to reach out to other pledges already and start organizing, because very different pledges at different forms, sizes, but some that really have a lot of things in common, and probably this would be the best way to organize ourselves, is already start. So of course we are organizing with the sister projects also in the Atlantic. Of course, again, this will have other of these Atlantic projects presenting these. I think they have a special responsibility, since they already have the Atlantic framework, really to bring this Atlantic cooperation, to implement this Atlantic cooperation. So very good, thank you. And now we go to Marcelo Rollnic. Marcelo, you can start, please.
It's okay, my share?
Yes. No, well, can you put on full, in presentation mode? Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Marcelo Rollnic. I'm professor from Federal University of Pará in Brazil, here in the Amazon coast. So I will show our initiative, the OCA, the Amazon Coastal Observatory. The OCA gather and share data from here, from the coast, to accelerate the development in the Amazon region, the science here in the Amazon region. And we have about 10 years, more than 10 years of data here from the coast. And we are working in rivers, estuaries, and the mangroves. And why we are looking for these areas? So we have a shadow zone of information here in the coast. We have many informations in the forest, in the main rivers like Amazon, the fluvial process, and in the Atlantic and the continental shelf too. But this area, the Amazon coastal area, has gaps of information. So we are talking about 800 kilometers of mangrove along the coast, two main rivers, large rivers like Amazon and Pará River, and many traditional communities that develop many economic, like fishery and aquaculture too. So the OCA, we have the observational, predict, academic, and social. Observational, we have many stations that we work with with hydrodynamic data, waves, river charge, temperature, salinity, turbidity of this area. And we have many points with tide stations that we give the tide table for all the community here from the Amazon coast. They predict we to have many models that we are improving here in the region. The academic, you can show the many publications or the main publications here at the area. So you can log in the site and you have all the publications of the last 10 years here in the Amazon coast. And the social, we have a net of citizen science that work with us in collaboration to understand some process here of the coast. All these data, we are working along these years to improve numerical modeling and predictions. So we have a main grid that take all the main rivers and the continental shelf and part of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And we are working downscaling for very important system of the coast, like some estuaries. So you can see here an example of a model of flood inundation in a specific mangrove forest. And to solve this problem, we are using many tools. We are working with partner with many tools to improve these high resolution models to solve some problems like oil mitigation, debris, larval dispersion, sediment transport, salt intrusion, and flood. Here we have a great floodplain area, hyper and macro tides, and large river is very high discharge. So we are working with these informations and sharing to all the community for the public and social sectors, for the science and for the economy. So we can share all these information for all the sectors. And I invite to see our site, and we are looking for global cooperatives, and it's very interesting for us to establish a partnership with others pledges. I've talked with the AA-MARINET, A-COASTNet. I think it's very important for us to join this effort for this very important area to the Atlantic. So we are looking to solve some problems like the sargassum, the debris, and to involve the blue economy of the area. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Marcelo. This is another good example. Of course, you're really working on this huge river, has a huge influence in the Atlantic. And of course, we heard all about all these problems that you're having now and this phenomena. So I also very important here to bring together maybe different pledges and collaborations. So now we go to Caroline Schio. Caroline, there you are.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Can just put in presentation mode, please?
Yeah.
Great.
So I am Caroline Schio, the coordinator of Massarico Ocean Literacy Program from Plus Atlantic Collab. And I will present the Massarico Pledge that is one of the 6 pledges submitted by our institution to our Atlantic 2021 Pledge campaign. And the collab, Plus Atlantic Collab, is a Portuguese research and development institution focused on creation and innovation solutions for the ocean based on various fields like marine science, ocean technology, blue economy, and ocean sustainability. We invite you to follow us in the LinkedIn and in the Twitter and visit our website to keep updated about the activities that we are carrying out. So our Master Rican Ocean Literacy programs aims to promote awareness and raise knowledge with different sectors of society towards the preservation of the ocean in a transversal and holistic approach. So between the activities that we are offering right now includes coastal monitoring by children, mini ocean museum, educational games, online ocean course for children, teachers training, and among others. So our pledge, just let me put this more, oh sorry, is inspiring children to engage into a blue planet. It has the objective to promote educational experience focused on children and adolescents to enhance knowledge, awareness, and actions related to reducing marine pollution and preserving the ocean, improving their daily habits and generating ocean advocates from a young age, and altogether leading to better and more mindful future generations. Having its roots in Brazil, these projects will promote activities to raise awareness on ocean health and engage communities to become ocean guardians. And to achieve this goal, we will promote workshops, training courses, coastal monitoring actions, and will develop new educational resources. All these activities will be implemented in schools, companies, universities, summer schools, and occasional events. Thank you so much. And again, we invite you to join us in our social media. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I see already here two very strong connections with the program that was already presented. So I'll continue now with Kasey Cantwell. It's going to talk about, from the middle of the ocean.
Hi, everyone. As Isabel said, I am joining you here from NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer, about 1,000 miles or so offshore the United States and about 1,000 miles southwest of the Azores currently. So I work for the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration on board with NOAA Ocean Exploration. I'm the operations chief for our Expeditions and Exploration Division, and I'm currently here in the cornerized seamounts on board Okeanos Explorer. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So thank you guys so much for inviting us to talk today. It's a really exciting group to be a part of, and we're happy to share a little bit more about what our pledge for the All Atlantic group is. But before I specifically talk about our pledge, I'd like to give you a little more background about our office and the tools that we use to conduct deep ocean exploration. We're the only federal US program dedicated to exploring the deep ocean, making us uniquely qualified and situated to lead partners in delivering critical deep ocean information to managers, decision makers, scientists, and the public in order to meet national and international priorities. This year, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of deep ocean exploration. And one of the ways that we work with the community in order to fill gaps and increase our understanding of the deep sea is by leading expeditions on NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer, where we use our deep water sonar and ROV systems in order to map and explore these poorly understood and rarely visited areas of our ocean. In the development of every expedition, basically every single day at sea that we spend out here, we work really closely with the science and resource management community to assess data gaps, to determine what priorities are, to understand where people just don't understand or what the edge of their currently known knowledge is. And then we use that information to plan our expeditions, to plan our exploration campaigns in order to make sure that the data that we're collecting is going to be as useful as possible to as many people as possible. We also then engage scientists on shore in real time and share the excitement of the deep sea with the public, and basically share in every discovery in real time with you at home. We do this through basically broadcasting every operation that we do on board the boat, which is currently ongoing right now on oceanexplorer.noaa.gov. So in addition, though, to sort of that science-driven mission and our public engagement that we do, a critical part for us and a core part of our principles of exploration is making sure that all the data that we collect is well documented with metadata and appropriately formatted in open source formats that can then be archived and released publicly within a timely manner. Next slide. So our All Atlantic Pledge is the 2021 North Atlantic Stepping Stones New England and Corner Ice Seamounts Expedition. This pledge includes 30 days at sea to map and explore the New England and Corner Ice Seamounts using our 8 scientific sonar systems and our deep water ROV system. And as well, we've included a commitment to making sure that the data and samples that we collect here as part of this expedition are available to the public within 3 to 6 months. As I mentioned earlier, we're currently conducting this expedition right now, and I invite you all to join us. And you can find out a little bit more about our expedition, what our plans are at oceanexplorer.noaa.gov. So the images I have here are a little bit of some of the highlights that we've had so far. The first one here is a map that shows our general ship track and our planned dives where we're going to be for the next basically 3 more weeks. Unfortunately, though, we hit a pretty bad storm at the beginning of the cruise, so we had to basically divert pretty far south from our planned area. But that being said, we got the opportunity to dive on some unplanned areas and some areas that have genuinely never had this type of data over them in the past, which was pretty exciting. For the remainder of the expedition, though, we're going to be in the New England and Corner Ice Seamounts. These are a line of extinct submarine volcanoes in the high seas that extend from the Mid-Atlantic Ridge to the eastern continental margin of the United States. And despite being very prominent features in the North Atlantic, we know very little about the submerged mountain range. So far, we've conducted mapping operations every day as well as every evening, and we've conducted 6 ROV dives so far, including the one that we're doing today on Castle Rock Seamount. We've mapped and explored several seamounts for the first time and have already found several potential new species, new records, diverse habitats, and collected samples that will inform geologic aging of these seamounts and how they connect both biologically and geologically to each, and how they're interrelated both to themselves as well as throughout the rest of the Atlantic Basin. And throughout basically the rest of this month through July 28th, we'll be out here exploring, and we invite you guys to join us. And that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you very much. Really exciting. And of course, again, I think there's a lot of commonalities with other pledges. I don't know if you look at them already at the list, but the one, for instance, was presented here already, one of the first ones that deals with the whole marine life. So all these new species, new ecosystems and everything. This is really, really exciting to see. So we can start knowing a little better what is life at sea. Okay, so thank you very much. We continue now with Cristiana Rocha Santos. You can start. Okay, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself, sorry.
Sorry. So, sorry. Let me just check this.
We're seeing your slide.
Yes, okay. From the beginning, I'm Chris from Oceans and Flow. I'm sorry for this. So I'm here to present you our underwater ecological education program that took place this year from March to June in Sesimbra, Portugal. And Oceans and Flow is an international community that creates aquatic journeys, experience, movies, and documentaries with a positive impact in the world. And the Atlantis program is one of our ecological education projects. It promotes social literacy and human development through educational experience in the ocean and in the community. And we combine freediving as a way to connect young people with the ocean, Oasis Game, a social game that mobilizes community to co-create a project, and Deep Ecology, that is the basis of all the Oceans and Flow work. Taking young people to know and experience the ocean to inspire them to care is our main goal and our pledge, because we really believe that we need to create this connection with nature to become more natural, to take care of it. Here are some of our activities. This program was designed to 22 ocean guardians from a local school, involving parents, teachers, all local community. And we had, in this first edition, 40 partners involved. And these, here are some pictures of our sessions. Here you can see the freedive sessions, a visit to seagrass meadows with the NGO Ocean Alive, that is our partner in this project. Oasis Game that ended with a forest cleanup. Ocean Talks, an event that we promote and invited 6 speakers related to the oceans to share their experience. We had almost 300 people attending in live streaming and presential. We had an eco action, beach cleanup in a local beach, and then we made some art with the trash. And the last activity was an algae workshop with the marine biologist from Sea Forester, where we raise awareness of the young people about the value of these the seaweeds. And we also made some food with the algae. So here are some pictures of the program. We finished and we are now thinking about the next editions. We are very happy with the results of this edition. We've been reported about how the students continue to go for free diving for themselves and doing beach cleanups. So it makes a lot of sense to continue this mission. And I invite you to follow us in our channels and stay tuned on the next steps. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Another pledge that targets the young people. This is very good, but here really to sense also, because this is very important. I also think it's very important for people. So we continue with Kelly Goodwin. Kelly, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can I share my, go. You guys can see that?
Yes. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank
Great.
you. Hi, I'm Kelly Goodwin. I'm from NOAA, but I'm representing an international collaboration started from the Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance and expanding to the All Atlantic for the Marine Microbiome Working Group and expanding out to all of you to join us in a Marine Microbiome Forum. And our pledges, we had pledges in 3 categories. One of them was in the food security, ocean resources, and biodiversity category. And that one, as you can see in the italics, had already listed mapping and quantifying the DNA of the Atlantic Ocean and understanding the role of biodiversity in maintaining marine ecosystem functioning. So that fit really well into the marine microbiome roadmap. And you can see on the right-hand side, it has 3 pillars connected by a cross-cutting theme: food value chain, which was nicely discussed by Aquavita about being able to have people rely further down in the food chain, biodiscovery, environment and climate, and then all the issues that connect in between for understanding, appreciating, and utilizing the resources that come from the world's largest microbiome, which is the ocean. So in that first category, the group has pledged to expand their observations by catalyzing through international collaborations, and specifically Atlantico is really well embedded in the Marine Microbiome Working Group, and that is a EU funded and led project, and we have now pledged that US scientists will participate in one of the legs of the Atlantico mission microbiomes in 2022. And then in another category was ocean technology, and in italics that was already pre-labeled exploit the potential of marine biotechnology. And biodiscovery and marine biotechnology are core pillars in looking at the marine microbiome. And we're hoping to inspire and spark fascination about marine microbiome science, biodiscovery, encourage innovation and entrepreneurship in this area. And we're going to use the working group and the forum to raise awareness and promote connections, which I'm hoping today's talks have pinged my mind in many places where we all need to get together afterwards offline and leverage each other's resources. And particularly, we're looking at relationships between government organizations, academia, industry, NGOs, and the general public. And we want to connect researchers, policymakers, business leaders, and youth ambassadors. And then our final one was a cross-cutting theme, and that's to expand the Marine Microbiome Working Group. And we're looking to expand our partnerships and our sectors while maintaining multinational science policy interface that's independent of any particular program, that we want to be all inclusive. And so everything I heard here today, I saw a lot of places where we could work together. We're really looking to spark fascination and demonstrate the socioeconomic value of the Atlantic's marine microbiome. One of the ways we're working to do this, we've pledged to facilitate knowledge sharing through a special issue in Frontiers in Marine Science about standard methods and best practices. And to help involve more people, we have extended the submission date. It was September 2021, and we've extended it to a year, September 2022. If you're interested, you can see in the highlight, you can send in an abstract, but it's not necessary. And you don't have to wait. If you want to work on, if you have any ideas about best methods or best practices, your paper, once it goes through review, will be published right away. It's not like you have to wait till September 2022 to see your paper published. The papers come out as soon as they get through review. We're also expanding communication, alliances, and collaborations by trying to get more people involved in the working group and the forum. And to do that, we have established a new website. You can see on the bottom, www.marinemicrobiome.org. We encourage you to join the team. And we have pledged to do a year-round marine microbiome awareness campaign through our website and social media. We've already had 2 events, World Ocean Day on June 8th and World Microbiome Day on June 27th. For World Microbiome Day, in red, you can do a direct link, but there's a beautiful activity and puzzle book that you can download that's great for, I think, K through 12, with the art done by a wonderful artist that has been working with us from the beginning to sort of interpret our science into, and you can see my background here. She did this sort of the greatest exploration of Earth to really try to connect people to the science. And we're going to work on things like microbe of the month, interviews between scientists, youth ambassadors, and we really also want to use this to highlight diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then also disparities between more developing countries with regard to their ability to explore and educate and to take advantage of marine microbiome and other Atlantic Ocean resources, and to promote solutions to that. You can see our hashtags on the bottom. We also established, since we last talked, a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, and a Twitter presence. And we hope that we will be talking to all of you guys very soon on how to work together to help promote all of these.
Well, thank you. Of course, everything is immersed in the marine microbiome, everything in the ocean. So it's huge, but I think maybe bringing this to the forefront of people's understanding, this is what is still to do, because people don't see that they have all these microorganisms are really what makes the ocean function in the end. So, okay, so to finish these presentations, we have Emily Smale. Emily, are you there? Hi.
Yes, so thank you, Isabel. Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Smale, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our pledge from the Geo Blue Planet initiative. And I put a link to our chat in the website. And to give an introduction, the Geo Blue Planet initiative is a voluntary network that's part of the Group on Earth Observations, which is an intergovernmental organization that has over 100 member countries and over 100 what are called participating organizations, which are groups that either use or produce Earth observation information for decision making. And Geo Blue Planet is the initiative of GEO that works on ocean and coastal information. For Geo Blue Planet, a lot of what we do is to serve as a broker between ocean and coastal observation scientists and the people who can use that information. What we are pledging to do in terms of the Atlantic is to serve as a broker between the observation community and decision makers in support of the Galway and Belém Statement. One thing about Blue Planet is that we focus on activities that are long-term. So we're looking at activities that can be operational, so monitoring for issues that are long-term problems, such as sargassum, which now seems to be an ongoing challenge in the Atlantic, and other issues such as marine pollution. And we really choose issues to focus on based on user feedback. So we do a lot of engagement with end users and then pick what to focus on based on what is presented. And what we do is to bring together these communities and produce networks and work with the communities to develop tools that can be supported long-term to support decision-making and development and implementation of policies to support a lot of sustainability frameworks. And we hope to, transition a lot of these services to be maintained long-term and to help both the scientists to get their work used and the end users to get the information they need, and also just to know that there's a lot of this information available. And so we're really excited about this initiative, and we look forward to working with the other pledgers as well as trying to bring in other partners into this effort.
Well, thank you very much. So with that, we conclude these presentations, and I think we had a very broad range of the pledges, which was, I think, the idea from the organizers. So we have 32, we would not have here 32, but we had a sample. There was really gave us a vision of what kind of things that we have right now. So I think the next, I don't see here for the moment really questions for the panelists.
Isabel, there is a question from Regina in the chat box.
Can you say? I cannot find it. I saw that you.
Yes, she is asking, just a second, about the pledges. What type of pledges, financial or institutional commitments is required? Can individual commitments also also possible?
Yeah, that's for you.
That's for me. That's why I was paying attention to this question. Hello, Regina, how are you? This idea of the pledge is very flexible, very broad. So in this first, cohort of pledges, we try to bring existing projects who had already funding, who had already, infrastructure. And then the idea is to consolidate these pledges or get them more broader and to coalesce in other, pledges. But we'll start to inviting other, potential pledgers. So we are very much open to financial, funding agents, for example, and there is no need to come up with any financial or institutional commitment, just a pledge to provide some solutions, some ideas, or to join other pledges. And of course, institutions or individuals can join it anyway. Okay, I hope I have answered your questions. And I know we've been working on some areas that, there are a lot of pledges already committed. So I invite you to exchange some ideas with them, and then maybe we could join these pledges.
Yeah, I think one interesting discussion we could have here, and I would like to hear the panelists first, and then of course extend to any participant, is what would be more useful, really, to continue to have people pledging as we have done so far, or really try to start combining and trying to really organize the existing pledges and also try to enlarge them with other institutions, projects, programs, etc., that want to join these existing pledges. Because we had broadly 6 areas that José showed in the beginning. Some of them we see that they overlap partially. The pledges that could fit in more than one of these areas. This one, I think, was more to try to organize this. But I think now that this started, what do you think would be the best way to move forward? Anyone wants to start?
I think we need to do both.
Emily, go on. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Isabel. So one thing that I think might be useful would be to also ask for requests for from help from communities. So maybe you have a community that is interested in a mangrove restoration project, and then you can match that with some scientific experts who could help out with that, or they're interested in starting a beach monitoring project in that, and then you can set them up with some marine litter experts or something like that who have already made pledges, or maybe you can get a pledge to help out with that request. That might be a helpful way forward.
Wow, that's a good idea, actually, to identify gaps. And yeah, well, of course, we are all helping José that is managing this, so to give him ideas how to move forward.
I definitely need your ideas.
So anyone else? Yeah, Frank, you have the floor.
Kelly was first.
Yeah.
Kelly, okay.
Kelly, yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, I thought both of your ideas, we need to do both. Definitely leverage what we heard today, helping, maybe offline, get people together and think about how we can cross advertise each other's efforts, and then also the expansion. And I think the expansion is the tricky part. I can say, for example, the Marine Microbiome Working Group is looking for, particularly for US participants and Canadian participants. We're well represented from the EU and South Atlantic. But how do we get the message out? We have the people who are here. How do we not preach to the choir is always a hard part.
Okay, so now I have here for the moment, Frank.
Yeah, I think Kelly brings up a good point, and we are looking at different pieces of the ocean and the Atlantic, and yet we are all trying to do similar things or things that could benefit from a collaboration. One of the things that I think maybe we didn't talk enough is that by combining forces and what we're doing here, we could make a very big contribution to the ocean decade. And I think that is a great opportunity under which we can work closer together, find new communities that can use ocean data or need ocean data and organize it in a better way. One of the things that we're trying to promote is this idea of using standards for data in what we call the essential ocean variables. And that is organized under the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission with the Global Ocean Observing System. And the surprise is that even though the Global Ocean Observing System is maybe 30 years old, these essential ocean variables are not very well known, or the concept that we can make at least a few measurements in a similar way around the world so we can compare things. And so I would love to work closer with Kasey, for example, in the deep ocean, or with Kelly on the microbiome, or with Rosa on how you bring this to aquaculture. And so with many of you, can we develop a community around which we talk about these standards and how we implement them in a broader sense?
Okay, anyone wants to add to this or put forward another point?
I would just say that I agree. I mean, I think that one of the beauty of, like, by everyone kind of coming together and voicing these pledges and getting together to talk about them is that you do get opportunities for collaboration that present themselves. Every group that's here has a small niche and a piece of the puzzle. I forget whose graphic it was at the beginning where they showed like all the different puzzle pieces fitting together, but by combining efforts and combining forces, you end up having the full puzzle. And you can actually build something that's much more impactful by working together than by having like my little disparate piece, your disparate piece, and kind of trying to figure out what else is around us if we're not actually talking.
Yeah, I guess this is really the point of doing this. I mean, of course, we try to do that also with the projects that want to bring things together. But I think the difference here is really to co-design solutions, and also this is much more bottom-up. So, of course, we are all part of different programs and projects and institutions, but I think we can, kind of in a bottom-up way, really see how we can fit all this together. And of course, usually you have to respond to a call or something that is already formatted, so you have to respond to this. And here we have the opportunity really to bring all these small things that we do to separately and try to design, co-design really solutions for the problems we have, and also the opportunities. And really they are created by the ocean, and in this case the Atlantic. Of course, this is some of these things will be viable for other oceans too. Some will be more applicable to parts of the Atlantic. But I think this is what makes this pledge a campaign different from really this project we are used to work with. Rosa, do you want to say something?
No, yeah, I will say thanks to Frank, and I say that I agree with him and support his ideas and what you are saying, and Kasey also. It's very, very important, and this initiative is great, because imagine if it is difficult to coordinate 35 or 34 partners as we have in Aquavita all along the Atlantic, from Brazilian people, South African people, European people with different culture and different languages, which is important also. So imagine to integrate new actors, which is good and really good, and we need that. But sometimes each partner or each research institution, research department is focused on his or her research, and sometimes it's challenging to get to say them, okay, you can work with another initiative, you can get the input from the other program or the other research institution, etc. We have to do that, and this pledge initiative is really good for doing that. And also the All Atlantic Research Alliance is helping us to keep the momentum and keep these ideas together. So keep doing that, because if not, the initiatives going along, it's difficult for us to create this collaboration in the All Atlantic. So thank you very much, and congratulations for all the pledges.
Yeah, I think that was the pledge from the Air Center, is that they keep this going. So that was very, very important, because if not, we just go back to our jobs, and this all gets forgotten. So Frank, you still have your hands up. Is that the old hand or new one? Okay.
Yeah. Just to give you a number to prepare these pledges, I mean, we had more than 50 meetings, one-to-one meetings, and we are now preparing another round of meetings, around 50. One good thing that you could, I mean, you could help us, sending us institutions or individuals that you think we should contact. For example, this would be great to help the pledging campaign. To keep contacting and try to either to consolidate on bigger pledges or bring more pledges. So the idea is not to stop. The idea is to have around maybe 100, maybe more than 100 pledges until the end of this year. But after that, the idea to start to consolidate these pledges in bigger pledges. This is very important, because to track 100, 150 pledges, I mean, it'll be very difficult. So the idea is to bring first more people on board and try to connect. That's why now we are creating these new features that people can either contact the coordinator of each one of these pledges, or they can simply ask to join the pledges. I mean, so even the contact to be direct with the responsible for each pledge, otherwise it would be impossible to manage. And try to bring also industry, more civil society organization, NGOs, for example. And also, what I really want, I mean, like Sigi, Sofia, and I would like to have a kind of a critical mass, so we could then present to potential funders, I mean, to go after additional funding, not only for collaboration, but also to continue the work that has been, I mean, already conducted. That's very important for the future of the pledge, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, this program, the Atlantic program, this was an initiative that was built over some years with the different countries around the Atlantic. But of course, we need to, if this is to continue, we also need to make sure that our politicians do not really get interested in something else and really let this stop. And for that, I think this is also a good initiative, because also shows again, and in a very, again, bottom-up way, what is already going on and all the valuable things that are already ongoing. And really to show the opportunity of bottom-up collaborations and co-design. I think this is really important and different from what we're doing in other projects and programs and things like that. So next steps, José, what you would like to happen? So we know that you'd like to have more, and of course we already, Emily was already giving this suggestion that we should already look at what we have already and start to identify gaps, things that will be nice to have, to complete or to really strengthen some of the pledges we already have or some areas. You already also said that you are already designing some new forms. Yeah, I've seen a draft where you can really, not only people can create new pledges, but they can ask to join existing pledges. And I think this is something, so for those that pledged, that are really, well, for those presenting, I think all of them pledged, have a pledge, an active pledge, so they may be receiving in the near future some proposals of institutions or even people that really want to join. Do you want to talk a bit how this could be done? What people need to have? I mean, an idea. They need to have resources to join a pledge. What are you going to ask of them?
Oh yeah, but yeah, if we let's listen from Kasey before, while I think how to respond to your question. So first Kasey, and we have also Flavio Ortigão from the audience. I will let him in also to ask. So Kasey, the floor is yours now.
Sure, thanks. So one thing that when we were all talking and I kind of was listening to the pledges, something that kind of struck me about like how I would not necessarily have interacted with a bunch of these folks, because like, well, I mean, besides Kelly, who I know our office works with quite frequently, and it's this program as well. But for a lot of the programs that were mentioned, they're not areas that like our deep sea exploration program would ever really interacted with. So maybe we as a group and we as a community need to be thinking more about looking beyond our usual presentations that we would go to or conferences that we would go to, where it's kind of, there are small little niche. So looking to expand our horizons and focusing on bringing together a geographic collection of people, not just a disciplinary group of people, so that you can start getting the picture of like an all Atlantic picture and bringing folks together so that you're looking from the microbes to the surface of the ocean, to the deep sea, to the shallow coastal waters, and looking at how they're connecting. Because like, I don't know that I ever would have seen anything about like the super coastal ecosystems, because those just aren't the spheres that my office works in anymore. So that I think is part of the value of getting this group of people together, but we should continue that throughout like the rest of the year or the years or decade to come. Look for ways that we can actually bring people together in our conferences and our sessions and such that we may host in the future.
Well, thank you for that. That is really important. Yes, I mean, we have here broad membership, and with a lot, even with the rivers and coastal, even on land. So for someone that works on deep sea, this is really different. But I think there's a lot of connection points that you can identify on this. So I have here actually Flavio Ortigão. He can talk, Jose. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he can talk
So
now.
go ahead.
Flavio, you can talk.
Yes.
Hello, Flavio.
Okay.
Okay, I think now I'm there.
Yes.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to participate in this very nice meeting. And I have a idea or something I want to discuss is that my company, I am a company, and we want to make a pledge. And I would love if we have a platform that you could upload our pledge suggestions to the community, to be open to peer reviews and discussions, also for interactions, because I think that people may want to join us, or people have some points of view. This, I think, would be very useful if we have a platform that we could upload the pledge. So that would be my comment.
Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, maybe we missed one of the most important, address here at URLs. We actually have a open forum. I just posted, the address. Okay, it's a completely open, and actually it's peer reviewed. I mean, we sit down and to see and discuss before publishing the pledges. So if you click on the link, you'll be able to pledge. Otherwise, you can connect us directly. And then we could help you out to, let's say, to really design the pledge if you need, okay? One important thing regarding the pledge is that we'll create now individual pages for each one of the pledges. A lot of people sent us emails asking us to have more information about the pledge. At the beginning, we just small, very small boxes, like 150 characters or 500 characters, but now we'll be able to create a real page. I will contact all the pledges later about that.
Yeah, and actually the 50 meetings you mentioned, these were really to discuss with the people that wanted to make pledges, to discuss them. So there is also the opportunity, maybe not with 1,000 pledges, but the opportunity to discuss and to improve the pledge. And so after it's published, then people can join. So then if you don't have already a big group, you can just, like we saw some examples here today of pledges of one group that really put forward this pledge, and then we'll try to get others interested and try to get together with other pledges that have a lot of common features or complementary. So you have a bigger pledge and also more international, more encompassing the Atlantic and so on. So
maybe you could pass to Kelly, and then I would reply to your question. Your other question.
Thinking about what Kasey said, I'm starting to see conferences come back online. Today or yesterday, I got one for the American Society of Microbiology. And maybe what we could do as a group is start to put in session ideas. I know, like for ASM, they're due in August, but maybe we could decide to do all Atlantic or ocean decade sessions. And at first I looked at it and I thought, so much work, but I look at all these people on the screen, and if we all work together, we could probably come up with like a standardized set of session ideas to put forward to different conferences. And that would be a way that we could, take our individual efforts and make a bigger impact.
Okay, this is another idea to move forward, really. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And so going back to your question, Isabel, and that's why I wanted Kasey and Kelly and Flavio to talk. I mean, what I learned after 4 years in their center, almost 4 years, that when you put people talking to each other and collaborating, a lot of ideas can come, you know. This is very interesting. So what my objective and our objective with the pledging campaign is to keep people talking to each other, you know, learning from each other, and maybe even working with each other. This is very interesting. And not only within the All Atlantic Pledge campaign, but also within the context of the All Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance on the projects that we have, I mean, from NOAA, from GEO and BON, to make all these projects be more, to disseminate these projects. It's very important because we are living in a very interesting moment with everything that has ocean involved. There's a lot of people interested. It's unbelievable. I mean, at least, I mean, that I've been noticing that, and the work done by the Anchor and UN Decade of the Ocean has been seminal to really bring more people. I mean, not that there are more things to be done, but because there are more people knowing what has been done lately. This is very interesting, what is going on.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we have finished our time. Well, the organizers will have to say that, but
so I learned a lot from all of you. Thank you so much. So Isabel, so you can wrap up the session and say always some wise words.
No, never wise for me. Anyway, but I think there was a lot of very good ideas that new ideas, I mean, that came out in this session. And of course, so I think the way forward, as José said, that they're still building this network with more. But I think we see already here, like Rosa, for instance, she was already mentioning other pledges that she identifies as being really very much connected. And I think others already started here also, that people identify, you know, during the presentations, that even things that looked so different really had a lot of common ground, and there was probably room for working together. So I think this dual thing, so still looking for more areas, more institutions, more pledges, but already start to look at how we can combine and work together. I think this will be the way forward. So over to you, José.
Just say thank you to you all participating in this meeting. Rosa has a new pledge.
We have very young attendees. This is very
good to know. We need.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you all.
He thought that you were his mom, Isabel. when she told him, mom is there in the screen. Sorry about that. Sorry, excuse me.
No, it's always nice to have young people on board. This is the way to starting to network with us. Maybe in 30 years he'll be, I mean, managing all these pledges. I hope so. Yeah. So thank you all again for everything, and I hope to keep discussing with you how can we move forward with the pledge campaign. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice summer break for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy a lot.
You too.
Thank you.
Weekend for the moment.
Yeah, me too. So thank you.